Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast. My name is Scott Howell, your fearless host and leader, insurance agency owner and insurance evangelist for I Protect Insurance and Financial Services, based out of Huntsville, Alabama. And before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome. He is a 6'3" sophomore from Mobile, Alabama, parade first team All-American, Rivals 5-star recruit. He is a fantastic insurance agent and a great American. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Bradley Flowers. How are you, Bradley?
Fantastic. How about you?
Bradley?
I like that hat.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. My cousin Pete sent me this hat. Cousin Pete happens to be the head football coach at Ole Miss, Mississippi. How do you say that? Mississippi University? University
of Mississippi.
Bradley, I got a proud dad moment today.
No, we could say Mississippi University because that'll make them angry.
Oh.
Like when people say the University of Auburn.
I've been saying Ole Miss for so long, I forget
you don't
how
know
to.
it, yeah.
I got a proud dad moment today I want to share on the podcast. Guys, if you are a daddy, if you're a father and you're listening to this podcast right now, I know a lot of you guys have kids that are Bradley's kids' ages and a little older that are playing t-ball and little league. And one day they grow up, and if you always have this romantic notion in your head as a dad that one day your kid's going to play college ball or pro ball. They're going to be play in the major leagues for the Yankees or the Padres. And as a father, that's a romantic notion, but you don't really ever think that one day is going to happen. And mine hasn't quite gotten to that yet, but he is playing major Division I junior college baseball. Their team is ranked 16th in the nation. They're about to go into their conference tournament. They have won 42 baseball games. They've run-ruled 17 teams.
Wow.
They are the leader among all divisions of baseball, including the major leagues, with 50 double plays. And they're ranked, I believe, 16th, 15th in the country right now in Division I junior college, with teams like your brother Cam Newton played for Blinn Community College. I think Blinn's one of the top. But it is so surreal to go watch him play this weekend, and I thought, this is unbelievable to get to the stratosphere that he's even at now.
Yeah.
Shortstop just signed with Alabama, University of Alabama. Most of their sophomores will all sign Division I scholarships, and it is a crazy thing to get to that point.
Do you feel a little bit helpless?
Oh, listen, let me tell you what.
Because in Little League, you can kind of,
Hey, you get to this point, guys, let me tell you what you say to your kid after the game. I love you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. And it doesn't matter if they struck out or they hit a home run or they whatever they did, because you are helpless. It's like watching your kid play quarterback for the University of Alabama. You're in the stands and they know way more about it than you do, right? There is no telling them what, well, why didn't you swing at that slider that kid threw?
If you do that, you're actually messing them up.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. I heard something one time that I'll never forget. It is a story that it's not a story, but the 3 rules of after a Little League baseball game, what you say to your kid. I love you. I'm proud of you. Where do you want to go eat?
Yeah.
And that's really about all you have to say. They know when they screw up. You don't have to get on them and, I don't understand why you made that error in the field.
It's like that famous story of a kid an adult said when he was a kid playing Little League baseball that the coach made him run 2 miles after practice because he was late to practice. And he said, my dad was the coach and he drove me to practice.
That's about right. Yeah, they ruled somebody the other day, and White sent me a video from the team bus of the other team running after the game.
Oh, that's funny.
He's like, man, these poor bastards are having to run.
Funny. But it's kind of like with people in your agency, man. It's like, you get the right people in the seat, you train them up, and then really at that point, my management style is to get out of their way.
That's right.
And only really get back involved if they're not hitting certain KPIs.
Well,
And
to your point, I think baseball is a lot that way.
Yeah.
You get the right people on the bus, you train them up, and then you tell them,
if you look at
hey, guys, go play baseball.
If you look at a baseball manager, there's a reason it's called a manager and not a coach.
Correct.
And if you look at, Mike Vrabel on the sidelines, who's no shortage of media coverage right now, versus the manager of the Yankees, it seems like the football side is a much more involved job as far as during the game than it is on the baseball side.
I would agree.
It's let's get everybody in place and let the thing unfold how it's supposed to unfold.
That's right.
And I say that I don't know jack about baseball.
Well, yeah, we could have
I've been
an hour
to one
long
professional baseball game ever, and it was the Savannah Bananas. So I just pissed off every baseball purist listening to this.
I love the Bananas. I'm proud of Jesse and what he's accomplished. And Barstool Sports can make fun of that all they want to, because they do a lot. But I still see what he's accomplished as just being mind-blowing, and I don't understand why the MLB doesn't take a little bit of that. And, kind of like the NFL did when the XFL came out. Well, they took a lot of that technology.
Mm-hmm. Or the PGA Tour with Live right now.
Yep.
And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in last week's podcast. Like, even if you're anti-AI, pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
Because if right now, you're not going to get put out of business if you don't use AI. But when that time does come, if you're now starting at the starting line of gaining the knowledge, you are so far behind.
And to Bradley's point, guys, if Scott Howell is utilizing AI, that should be an oh shit moment for you. Seriously, because all I want to do is bush hog on my John Deere tractor and everybody leave me alone. If Scott's utilizing AI, you probably need to jump on ChatGPT and Claude and check this out and figure this out. And it is not hard to figure out. Bradley just said it last week. How do I start? Get on one of those platforms and say, how do I start?
Yeah.
It's pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I own an independent. This is for the Aaron Robertsons of the world who always do the whole, I don't understand, I can't figure it out. I own an independent insurance agency and would like to start utilizing AI. Please explain to me how to start doing that. And you'll hit enter, and that son of a bitch will probably bring out 20 different things you can start doing.
And it'll be wrong about some things.
Yeah.
But
you can tell that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I got a superstar on this podcast today. His resume of success is borderline unbelievable. Second-time guest on the IGP, and I cannot wait to hear some of the thoughts about what we're talking about right now. And the reason this is back-to-back episodes you guys are hearing about artificial intelligence is because it is sweeping the insurance industry right now. And we are the tip of the spear in terms of talking about things that are sweeping the industry. And artificial intelligence is doing that. But I want to give him the introduction that he has always deserved. He is originally from Hyderabad, India, and he currently resides in Greenwich, Connecticut. He's a graduate of the Thunderbird School of Global Management, which is now part of Arizona State University. I was there last week. And he doesn't consider himself an entrepreneur, but guys, I want you to hear this resume of success. He's a senior insurance industry executive, best known as the founder and former CEO of Risk Match, which grew dramatically under his leadership from a startup company in 2013 to become the commercial insurance sector's most widely analytical platform and was acquired in 2017 by Vertifor. Before establishing Risk Match, he held positions of increasing managerial responsibility with Marsh, the firm's U.S. global risk management business. While at Marsh, he established and led many of the firm's strategic units and business tools. He's also an inventor of 3 U.S. patents, which is unbelievable. And he's earned an MBA degree from that Thunderbird School of Global Management that I mentioned earlier. and he is the founder of Enable, an open platform for insurance brokers and carriers, and he is an advisor to various insurtech companies and on the board of directors of the 1970 Group. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my profound honor today to introduce to you second-time guest on the IGP, my friend, Mr. Kabir Syed. How are you, Kabir?
And thank you, sir. I'm actually very honored. I wish I had a voice like you. So I'm going to try to imitate it. And like they say, let's get ready to rumble.
That's
So
right.
I'm going to say, JC, congratulations to you on making your dad proud.
Well,
nothing matters more than making your family proud. Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. I want to talk to you today. I would love to talk to you every day. And the reason is you have such a resume of success, and you have your finger on the pulse of what's going on with all of this artificial intelligence stuff. And that's a broad, I'm painting with a big brush right there, but as it relates to the insurance industry as a whole. Okay. So let's talk about that today. Bradley, do you want to throw out the quote that you threw out when we started it, right before we started?
Yes. So the majority of our podcast guests come from, I see something they've either posted or commented on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram that piques my interest. And I'm like, I want to do an entire hour podcast on that. So there's a lot of noise out there about AI, and there's a lot of people that are worried. You know, I mentioned before we got on the air, it's kind of funny. You know, almost every single person that has a negative doom and gloom opinion on artificial intelligence, if you don't even have to peel back several layers of the onion. You just have to take the skin off the top of the onion, you know, the parts you don't cook. And then you realize, like, wait a minute, this person sells a product that AI directly affects negatively. And so Kabir posted this. He said, I've been around the block for a while, 30 years. This time around, the change is transformational, and it's going to scare the hell out of a lot of people, companies, and myself. The next 5 years are going to be chaotic for technology and agency management system companies. Be thoughtful about changing and choosing, as you will see companies saying AI is a replacement for AMS. It will be, just not today, which I agree with. But change is happening very fast and not in the ways we anticipate. It's the best of times. And I saw that and I said, man, we have to talk about that. So Kabir, you want to expand on that, talk about what inspired that? And maybe I completely missed the point altogether, but let's get into it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me again. So I wasn't joking. I wasn't drunk when I said that. I was feeling it after seeing the reactions and changes and what is possible. So let's just talk first, right? We need to know what business we are in. We are not in the technology business. We are in the business of connecting, servicing, and advising. Let's just get that straight, right? Because most of our time we spend on like, well, this CRM doesn't work, this AMS cannot do that, or what the roadmap is. Like, that is not our business. Our business is to do certain things for clients. But over the last 30, 40 years, we have created processes. Whatever we do, think about, right? Every process that we have created, whether it's for sales, placement, advice, and renewal, is based on what our platform is. What does your AMS do or not do? That's what your process is at best. The second thing is our entire business model has been based on the platforms we use. Now think about this, right? What I'm saying, which means we get business from a producer. It's still a relationship. We need to trust people, and this is how we trust other human beings rather than technology much. So if you get a producer, you hire 2 more AMs, and then you say, I have to do this, and I have to get outsourcing, because our technology cannot do that. That's our entire process. That is about to sink into a hole like never before. And that is what we need to understand. It doesn't matter. Any new technology will go through hypes and lows and then steady out. So in terms of what I see it can do, it is care given for me. I have 64 people in my company. I don't need to add another one. I can just add more AI to do stuff.
Yeah.
And we are using it all over the place, right? For example, if I have a board meeting, I'll say, here are my 8 decks from the last board meetings, create the next deck.
Yeah.
It takes 10 minutes. 3 years back, we had a website, our website was 3 years old, and we'd spent $60,000 to create the website, and it took 2.5 months. We spent 45 minutes, and the new website was done entirely by Claude with some verbiage changes, 45 minutes. And that's the change. We are looking for producers. I say, here's what my 6 producers' resumes are. Here's what we like, and here are the companies that I'd like you to look at. It gave me 65 resumes. And it takes 10 minutes to do it. So think of what I had to spend in terms of a user action to do it. And then connect it together, and then clean it up, and then format it. It's all gone. So the manual work of doing things have gone. Now think of all the steps we have today that we are doing manually, if those steps can be eliminated. So that is what AI can do today. Yes, it will make mistakes. So we had one of our clients, we have 165 clients, 170 clients, and they're all using it differently. We had a client who said, hey, if there's a 2% error rate, we have a problem. So I said, totally understand, but let me ask you the reverse. What's your error rate on a human being?
Exactly.
Right.
Not on pet. What's your error rate on a human being? Because we as human beings say, oh, no, I can't accept a 2%, 5%, 6%. Human beings do it 80% or 85% because it's tedious, it's repeating constantly, and we are not, where we clock in and clock out. We can't do this with the same level of energy all the time. Maybe my first policy check is great, but at the end of the 8th one, I'm like, well, this is another one I have to do it, and I have to go home to cook for my kids or pick them up from school. It's going to happen. Software doesn't do that.
It reminds me of the argument, 2013 to 2015 when Facebook advertising was taking off. It reminds me of the argument of, well, with Facebook ads, I know exactly what the ROI is. With billboards, radio, and TV, I have no idea. And the billboard, radio, and TV companies would argue their ROI was higher, but it's just a made up number. Like when I used to buy billboards 15 years ago, and it was the dumbest thing ever. The Lamar Advertising would send me a PDF that shows the average number of impressions. I'm like, how do you know people are looking at?
Yeah,
you know what?
Right.
They're looking at their damn phone, even if they're driving.
Right.
It's
I think
like
they
the
still
same,
do that today. By the way,
it's like the same thing with the error rate of AI. It's like, well, at least there's an error and you can fix it. I had a buddy text me this morning, actually in the middle of our first podcast, and he said, how often do E&O claims happen where a human gives bad advice? And I said, I'm sure it happens every day. But here's the thing, is in order for an E&O claim to happen, the bad advice has to be given, the customer has to have a claim that's not covered, and they have to be smart enough to know to file a lawsuit. And so when you put those few things in there, so I said, my response to him was, and I knew the context of his question, it was around AI. I said, when you put those things together, there's probably millions of mistakes made by account managers that go not known about because one of those two other things don't happen. Therefore, we just think everything's perfect when it's not.
Very true. Very true. So here's what I say to people is like, you don't have to be an expert. I cannot code. I'm not an engineer. I run a technology company and I'm using AI. It's not difficult. You don't have to be an Excel expert or a PowerPoint expert to know how to use PowerPoint. You just have to use it because we are not in the business of making the sausage. We are in the business of selling the sausage and saying, what are the ingredients and how it's made? So let's just stop thinking about, well, what can it do? How do I use this? Try things. And it's getting better every day. And it is pretty cheap or almost free to do it.
And the other thing is so we've got a few AI agents we've built that are doing things for us. One of my favorite things to do after they've run for a couple of weeks is to go in and ask, hey, how can you do this cheaper?
Yep.
And usually it'll give an idea. There was one, so we built an AI agent. So our renewal process, we have a renewal pipeline, new renewal, renewal offer received, new renewal, waiting on renewal offer received. Well, I have a human whose primary job is to go find those renewal offers, right? And so I built an AI agent that will go find the renewal offers. And so it ran for a couple of weeks, and the cost for it to run every day was anywhere between like $9 and $50, right? Now it's checking 900 renewals on average. So $50 even is still not that big of a deal. And so I asked, hey, how can we make this cheaper? And it said, well, this one carrier I'm having to access via browser, if you will send an email to the carrier asking for this specific API to do this specific thing, I can do this for pennies. And so I said, write the email. Because I don't know how to code either. I'm an idiot when it comes to that. So I wouldn't even know what to ask for. So it writes the email, found the person at the carrier that I needed to send the email to. I send the email, we get on the call, and they're like, yeah, no big deal. We'll do that for you.
How amazing is that, right?
Yeah.
It is. I actually think, so today, you asked me in 2 bits, right? One is, we need to understand the process, not the technology that supports the process. What do you really want to do in an ideal stage? And then you have a human who's checking that. Let us be the judges of things, not the doers of things. Very, very big difference. It's not taking jobs, it's changing your job dramatically.
Correct.
And the second part is we need to start giving it access to certain things. I'm not saying do the transaction, but access to, we are hesitant as an industry to give access to our email, but we let Microsoft look at it. We let
Right.
HubSpot read it, Gmail. We have given it 100 times. We have lost that battle. It's gone.
Yeah.
So they already have access to it. And the second part is start slow. Just start with $20 a month. It's not that much. What can it do? First, automate your work, right? But the third part is we need to put our data together. So the problems we are going to run into as we go through it is we're going to use companies and platforms, and we'll make the exact same mistake we made the past 30 years. So you use a service. Today, our data sits with AMS companies. Tomorrow, it'll sit with AI companies. I'm like, well, why are we making the same mistake? Why can't we have our own data back? So one of the things you tell AI is every time you extract something, put it in the C drive, put it in my Google Drive, or put it in my server drive. I mean, it's very cheap to do it. So you have access to it. The second part is try the simplest thing that doesn't impact your revenue. Do it after the fact. Hey, here's was my advice to my client. Tell me if it is right or wrong, and tell me where I should be worried about the loopholes or legal implications of this. It'll tell you.
Yeah.
Now that can be the feedback to the CSR. Here's what I didn't bring it. This is what AI has done. Start with that.
Yeah.
They also learn, and they'll say, well, this is better. Why don't they do it first ahead of me? Let them take the action on this.
Right. What are your thoughts? And you mentioned this earlier with hiring. So my thoughts around, so the number one question I've been asked, even by some of my own people, I had a senior level person at my office come in my office a couple weeks ago, and she said, are you going to replace us with AI? And I said, no. I said, am I going to replace parts of your job with AI? Yeah, absolutely. And then we're going to have you do higher level stuff. Like the young lady I mentioned that finds renewal offers. Well, now she doesn't have to do that. Now her job is just to manage those renewals. You don't have to spend your time digging through carrier sites trying to find it. And for context, a lot of our carriers don't download, so we're having to go grab those renewals. Also, our process is we start the renewal process 60 days out, so that the soonest we can get that renewal, the better our retention is. What I see around, there's people posting stupid stuff like, oh, there's going to be insurance agencies with no employees, yada, yada, whatever. And the way I see it is it's going to dramatically slow down hiring, which in effect is going to allow me to pay my people more. So I see it having a positive impact, not a negative. You know, at the Best Practices Summit, they showed how the revenue per employee had gone dramatically up over the last few years, and they only do that summit every 3 years. I'm wildly interested to see 3 years. I may go to that summit 3 years from now just to see that data, to see how that's impacted. Granted, this year's was a little bit inflated due to the hard market. But how do you see this having an impact on hiring and things like that?
Yeah. So I'm going to start from for the first 5 years, the next 10 years, and the next 20 years, right? The first 5 years, we are going to change people's roles dramatically. It's going to happen. But which means if you are just a person who are hired for outsourced, repeatable work, that's not going to exist.
Right.
It's gone. So if you thought I was outsourcing it somewhere else and I was finding some cheap people, virtual assistants, stuff like that, it's gone. What will happen is you'll say, this agent is going to do the renewal work. You're going to check it. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, here's the process I use today internally or with an outsourcer. Tell me how I can do this better, faster, cheaper. And it'll tell you how to do it. You're like, okay, sequence this work. And oh, by the way, your manager is now Bradley or Shelley or who it is. Check back and give him or her a report every week. That's going to happen. It can happen today. Not many people are doing it. So that's the first part. But in terms of where it is going, there will be agents or agencies without human agents until technology, until regulation catches up. But that's 10 years from now.
Right.
But it is coming. So 2 years back, there was only one company that was built AI native as a broker. Today, there are 8.
Interesting.
They always go for the lowest totem pole. So think about they're saying, because there's no licensing cost, number one.
Right.
All of your depreciation in the first year in technology, because it's a tech company. Your valuations are different, which means people give you more money. They're going to buy out other agencies because they have more money. Instead of private equity, it has come down to venture capital, and then they'll write the mom and pop kind of coverages because you don't need. It's something that people need for that. But over a period of time, it'll keep moving up, Think of what used to happen or what happens today, and it happens 99% of the time. You go to a carrier and you say, hey, I know what I sent to you, but they evaluate after you send it because they have a specific note. There exist companies today, they'll sit on top of your AMS, they'll read everything and say, here are the 8 carriers who can write this. You don't even have to ask. And you have access to 5 of them. You're appointed by 5 of them. So they can write it. So now you can direct people to say, here are the 8 carriers. I don't have to think.
Yeah.
Because Kabir is a new producer. He's validating. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He'll ask 8. He'll send out emails to everyone and say, who writes this? Can you introduce me? And there's no negotiation there. It's there. Put this over here. I'll do it. So the companies that exist do now. But the AMS companies don't allow them to sit on top of it.
Right.
I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just trying to say, look, technology is going so fast. Everyone is thinking, how do I survive? Or how do I change? And how do I incorporate? So it's going to change dramatically. But after that is like, well, what is our job then? Right? And it can read policies. It doesn't have the context very clearly because you understand your friend or your client to say, what is he able to actually accept as a risk?
Right.
Today, that is very difficult to tell a non-emotional software.
Right.
Because I might say, well, I'll race a car at 150 miles an hour until you say, if you get caught in this thing, that's 2 years in jail or something. Like, oh, now it's slightly different. I did not know that. But so that's the context to put in. So the personality understanding of your clients and the relationship is what we need to get better at. The manual work, my suggestion is start today. Get it out of your company. The sooner you do it, the better it is. Well, because it is coming very fast.
And that's the piece, the relationship piece, the anti-technology people, the piece they don't understand is that you can use technology to replace the human interaction, or you can use it to enhance the human interaction.
Yep.
It's just like a car, right? I used my car to get here very, very fast this morning. It actually drove me here in Mad Max mode, by the way.
I won't ever own another car that doesn't drive me.
I can also use
Did you
it
hear
to.
that?
I can also use it to run over people. You can use everything for good and bad, you know. But but on the checking thing too. So that renewal finder thing, it was making a few mistakes. We're having to go in and tweak it. I built another agent called the Watchdog that actually lets me know if that thing makes a mistake. So now I don't even like. All I have to do is look at the Watchdog's good. Okay, we're good. You know.
Hey, I've got 2 questions for you guys. Are you both ready for these questions?
Yes, sir.
Because I'm not like you and Bradley. I'm like all the insurance agents listening to this that don't keep up with technology. You know, most independent insurance agents are like me in that they know just enough to be dangerous, but they're not real tech savvy. And I'm painting with a big brush there. There are a few out there, the CJ Hudson Pillars. There's a few out there that are real tech savvy, but for the most part, I think most people are about like me. They just know enough to be dangerous. So here's their questions. You guys ready for the ordinary insurance agency owner questions? Number 1, Bradley. How are your people accessing artificial intelligence? And let me explain what I mean by that. Are you buying an enterprise type package through Claude and giving all of your people access to Claude, or are you utilizing a service like Gale and giving them all access through that each month, or is it like every man for themselves?
Both. We have an insurance-specific AI platform we use, and then my managers have access to Claude so that they have the capability to build things and things like that.
But like this account manager out here, if they want to use artificial intelligence, they have to buy it themselves.
No, that we'll buy it for them. Yeah.
Okay.
The argument I make, so Kabir, I don't think I said this. I said it on last week's episode. I spoke to a group of insurance agents in Arkansas about AI. You can imagine how that conversation went. And yeah, I had to book a professional driver to get to him from the airport because there was no Uber out there.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's no Uber and you're going to talk about AI, the argument I make to agency owners that aren't using AI of some sort or giving their people access to it is your people are going to use AI. Mm-hmm. The question is, do you want them getting a ChatGPT subscription and forgetting to turn off train the model and uploading your customer data into that? Or do you want to give them something that you feel more comfortable with? You know what I mean? So
this has happened many times. So just to answer your question, my suggestion is get everyone an access. Mm-hmm. And when I say hold them accountable, if they ever come and ask, hey, how do I do this? You're like, no, I want you to go and ask, and I want you to tell me how it is. Do not support the person to say, hey, I'll do it for you. Don't. Mm-hmm. Here it is. I did it myself. You can do it. Mm-hmm. Get an enterprise license. It's only $20 a person. Start with your managers, not with the other way around.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, go ahead.
Kabir, next question is for you. Bradley, feel free to chime in, though. Is this damn thing broken? What is going on here?
That's my magic pen.
Oh, I was wondering. Next question for you. How long before all AMSs integrate with an artificial intelligence platform like a Claude or ChatGPT? I realize right now you've got the HubSpots, the few people that are utilizing HubSpot in the industry can utilize that. Bradley has figured out a way, I guess, whatever the momentum, which used to be Now Search, has like an integration with these artificial intelligence platforms that allows him to pull a lot of data from. But there are a lot of AMSs. I'm assuming the Hawksofts of the world have yet to allow an integration where Scott can connect through an API Claude to Hawksoft for it to be able to get in there and run reports and things like that. So how long before all of these AMS companies are going to be forced to have some type of integration?
Yeah. I already know the answer, so I'm going to be very diplomatic but clear. The younger or newer AMS systems will do it because this is the once in a lifetime opportunity for them to show the difference and win business.
Correct.
Very simple. So that's why, you said momentum, because it's new.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 2,000 clients, and now they can get to 8,000 very quickly by doing this.
Correct.
So that's fine. The rest of them are going to think very, very carefully because it will eat up their revenue like 50% of the time. So think how, if you were a X millions of dollars company and you charge for service and you charge for upload and you charge for user, all that is gone.
Yeah.
So how are you going to charge? So, and they're not thinking very carefully. If we don't cannibalize ourselves, somebody else will.
Exactly. If you don't put yourself out of business, somebody else will. Yeah.
We can tell you, we see, and two parts, right? One is the model wasn't to partner and collaborate to make it better. The model was, I own the data, you pay me X or you pay me Y, and let's see whether we partner with whatever program you call. It's not there in the insurance industry. They're in other industries. The second part is we are based on seats, and the technology is very old. 25 years, 30 years, 20 years, it's really old. So they're trying to think how to do that. Part of the ways we've already seen contracts from some of the AMS companies where they say, you will not use external AI to reduce licenses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know where this is going, but look how scary it is for them to include that language in a contract with that client.
Yep. And to me, that's the wrong approach.
100% agree, because it was difficult to move AMS systems, and they're not much better than each other. They're similar to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Some are better at certain UI, some are better at service. So now it's going to be, well, I personally think in less than 5 years, Bradley is going to say, I've done this for 5 years. I have agents running. He'll be an agent and a licensor of his platform. Why not? Why not, right? He's running an agency. Why can't he do that? Why do I need to go to these big brand names for it? Because he has already tested it. He has said, this is what it works for. And it'll work for, he can say it'll work for, I don't know, pick a number, $3 million or $5 million and less companies. We will have a plethora of, that's why I said it's not going to go as intended. At some point, people are going to say, Bradley, you already did this thing. Why can't I use yours? And he's going to say, well, I didn't think of licensing it outside. Now I have to create something that I can sell to other people. It's going to happen.
Yep.
There are companies that scale to 100 million with 2 employees, 5 employees, 6 employees. That model didn't exist before. So you're going to see a lot of owner-operated software or AI technologies coming to the market. Because earlier it was, well, people who had money, people who had technology, and people who had control, who would control your thing. That is going away dramatically fast.
Yes.
Now you know why I said how scary it is to do it. Because 2 years back, when we started down the path for AI, it used to cost, a policy is between 60 pages, and the largest policy we have seen is 1,200 pages. So it used to cost us for a regular 60-page document, $16, $17. It's come down to $5, and it'll keep going down.
And that's the argument I make to the there's a lot of doom and gloom out there. Oh, AI is so expensive and the data centers use so much water and da-da-da-da-da and all that. I'm like, look, guys, the first computer that was ever invented was in a room that was like 2,000 square feet. The computer itself was 2,000 square feet, and it had less than 1/10 of a gigabyte of storage. So the longer technology is around, that we figure out how to get it cheaper and more efficient. And, you know, I posted on LinkedIn a couple months ago that if you're a technology company, whether it was directed at AMS companies, but no matter the technology, and your moat is your walled garden that, oh, you can only work with third parties that integrate directly and we either own or have a big investment in, that strategy is over. I now don't need your blessing.
Very true. And you can see this if you ever go to the AMS companies' annual meetings, you know, when I say, you know, the once a year, whether it's Applied, Vertifor, Hawksoft, or whatever, it doesn't really matter. You can see it used to be a lot of outsourced companies, some carriers, then it became a lot of SaaS companies, and then AI companies. Go this year onwards and see how few of AI companies there will be. Why? I'm going to ask you this question. Why do you think fewer AI companies
are a threat?
They've been asked not to come.
Yeah. In some cases, they've been kicked out. That's happened too.
And my point to people is like, look, if you are the big monopoly, utilize these small companies to get better.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will become bigger at a cheaper cost because they have nothing to lose, really nothing to lose. So to answer your question is like, look, you're going to have lots of options at a much cheaper rate. And some will be pure tech plays. Some will be experienced operators who will say, I've done this and I'll do it. I can offer it to you.
Yep.
Because what makes us think that the big companies or the technologies are better? Right? Why should they be better?
Hey, Kabir, I've got a question for you and Bradley. This is a use case live on the podcast to utilize artificial intelligence to help Scott in his day-to-day operations. So I get between 100 and 200 emails a day from, I would say, 1/3 of those 200 are probably emails I probably need to look at. Okay. How do I get Gemini or Claude Cowork or something in my G Suites to go through my emails and extract out or whatever the ones I don't need to look at versus the ones I probably do?
I can show you how to do that in 5 minutes with Claude.
Yeah, it is. I was going to say you're late. It's been available for a year or 2 years.
Yeah, I know I'm late.
I've got an agent.
Don't know how to do it.
I've got an agent that runs every morning.
I mean, I know you can do a rule and say, well, if this kind of email that goes in here.
Right. I've got an agent that runs every morning that scrapes my email from the day before, scrapes my meeting notes, and scrapes my Slack and sends me all the things I need to respond to that I haven't.
That's exactly what I need.
And it takes some tweaking, but like because Claude has a native G Suite integration, you can do it. I mean, 10 minutes, you can have it.
Damn.
Yeah. You ready?
It even gets better. It can read. You can say, what is important to me? Hey, here are my 10 clients or any client email. If I'm CC'd or I'm number 5th in the CC, it'll learn. You just tweak it over a period of time. It can even read everybody's emails and say, how long do they take to respond? We had a client that said, I want my account manager's emails to be read. I said, what do you want to get out of it? I want to know why they are late in responding. I'm like, well, I don't think that's okay. My suggestion is, did you set a benchmark to say how long do you want them to wait before responding?
Yeah.
Right? It's like you can use a car to run over a person, or you can use it to get somewhere else fast.
That's right.
It's a choice you're going to make.
Yep.
Kabir, thank you so much for being on the show today.
It's a pleasure, sir. Always good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I'm going to close this thing out. Guys, as we end every episode, rewards come from action, not discussion. Get your ass out from behind that desk today. I know what you want to do. You want to sit there all day long and play with Claude or Chat GPT and figure out ways to make your agency better. But at the end of the day, when you peel away the onion, this is still a relationship business. Go make relationships, go build relationships, and write more business for the agencies that you represent, and write more good business for the carriers that you represent. Bradley Flowers, I love you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Kabir.
Thank you, Kabir. Guys, you were listening to the Insurance Guys podcast, and we love each one of you. Thank you so much for being a part of our family, and we'll see you back here real soon.
Yeah.
Take care.